He was a world-renowned trauma therapist who worked with both adults and children. People in my inner circle highly recommended him. His practice had 2 rooms. One was cold and clinical with a giant bookshelf, heavy dark leather chairs. The other was warm and inviting, a playroom filled with colorful furniture and the cutest stuffed animals. I was drawn to that room. So I finally dared to ask him to have a session there. And he said, "You're an adult. You do not belong in that room, Jennifer. If I let you in, you will never want to leave and return to the adult room." I was crushed. It had taken a lot for me to speak up and advocate for what I needed and what I felt was an easier way to discuss something that has broken me into 1,000 pieces. I couldn't believe he shamed me. After that session, I spiraled again. I numbed the pain with alcohol, food, shopping, and men because I didn't know what else to do. I began to believe that perhaps something was wrong with me, and I felt extremely guilty and angry with myself. Has anyone ever felt that way? Just wondering. If you do, drop it in the comments. When I returned to therapy next week and said, "I slept with 10 people this week and spent $500 on weed and edible gummies just to feel better," he looked at me and said, "Jennifer, that's a lot of men to sleep with in 1 week." But it wasn't just the words, he said, ladies. It was the look on his face. The shame was so loud, too loud. "Do you want to know what I said?" I asked. "If I was a man, would you say that same thing to him?" He didn't answer. He couldn't. The silence conveyed everything. Here's the truth, ladies. Therapy gave me insight into my traumas, but there was never enough time to teach me the life skills I needed and tools to navigate. The session ended before we could even try to practice skills, leaving me with a lot of information, emotional information that I didn't know how to process. I was never taught how to manage myself after being triggered. No one guided me how to navigate flashbacks. Flashbacks are process intense emotions that flooded me after sessions. And I desperately wanted to know how to do these things, but I didn't know. So I resorted to the only option I knew, survival, numbing myself. But now I know I wasn't broken. I just didn't have the skills needed to process and work through my traumas. I realized the space I needed where I could show up messy, scared, authentic without being judged didn't exist. So I created it. I made this channel for all of us so you don't have to feel alone anymore. Now we have that community of women where we feel seen, supported, and loved, especially when we need it the most. Welcome to my channel. Healing should not be confined to a one-size-fits-all method. Have you ever felt judged in therapy? Or did you ever leave more triggered than when you walked in? Tell me in the comments. If you want to know more about how I made it through hell and found my way through, you should watch the next video. But for now, I love you.